everyone. My name is Raven Sparks, and today I'm going to be talking about bullying. Um, this is going to be a much different video from my usual ones in that I've actually had to write this entire thing out to help me stay on track because I tend to go off on tangents when I sit and talk to the camera. So I'm actually reading right now. um, Even though I'm reading, it's still hard to not go off, so I'm going to really try my best here. Um, this video will also be quite long, as I'll be talking about not only the bullying that I've received online, but also what I've gone through in person when I was younger. Even so, it will be as heavily condensed as possible as I try to stick with the topic at hand and not veer off into other areas of my life. It is my hope that by getting my story out there, I can somehow help others who might be going through anything similar. People tell me all the time that I'm an inspiration to them, and I don't see how, but I figure if people think that I can help them somehow, then maybe at least I can gather together my story in one place and actually put it out there and hope that I can reach out to somebody, in case anybody out there thinks that they're alone or just might need verification that somebody else is going through the same thing and they've made it through. So I don't know, just trying to help somebody somehow. If it doesn't help anybody, then at least I tried. Doesn't really matter, but I wasn't originally going to post this video yet, not until I felt that I was physically ready. I've always had the most horrible self-esteem, and bullies feed off of that. While waiting to be what I felt was the perfect kind of person, someone pretty enough to be feeling good enough to withstand the harassment that I know will come my way after releasing this, I realized that, you know what, I am ready. I have so much support around me, and I've improved my life by leaps and bounds. With the way I've always seen myself, I can't keep hiding behind excuses because, knowing me, I'll never feel thin enough or pretty enough. So no more digging around. This is the time to put my story out there. A few years ago, I started writing a book about my life. I then later made videos where I was reading what I wrote, just like this. I never finished the book. In a way, this is going to be like that, only focusing on abuse by my peers and not my family or my husbands or my boyfriends. Because I'm going to be trying so hard to keep this under an hour, a lot will be left out. Hopefully, though, what I do share will still be enough to explain and make you all understand. I've been different all my life. I don't know how or why, I just know I always have been. I didn't exactly look different to start with, but I definitely never fit in with the other kids. When I was in elementary school, kids hated me for being too smart and getting what they saw as special privileges. My mom had been teaching me at home before I even started school, so I went in already knowing how to read and write and do basic math. This was the beginning of my nightmare, although it didn't start out being so bad. Just me, lonely, not really having friends. Then when I did have friends, I was the one they used to beat up on for fun, taking me behind buildings, onto other streets, smacking me against walls, tripping me, pulling my hair, calling me names, then later saying sorry and pretending that they were just kidding. Growing up in Germany, I spent the next few years alone as well. I had a few kids I'd occasionally talk to, always the nerdy kids that no one else liked. But most of the time, I was all by myself. I remember walking through the schoolyard at lunch, hands in my pockets, daydreaming about being beautiful and popular. I used to wish that I was She-Ra, Princess of Power, or a mermaid. I'd also wish that I could unzip my skin and underneath would be the real me, with golden blonde hair and perfect eyesight, because I've worn glasses since, I was around 8 years old. I'd unzip my ugly, boring skin and come out like a golden goddess with perfect eyesight, and everyone would love me and want to be my friend. When we moved to the States, I was still an outcast. My parents at the time were extremely strict with me and had always controlled me. They told me what to wear, when to get up, what to eat, when to shower, when to brush my teeth. Pretty much my entire life was scripted out or scheduled for me. Even my clothes were laid out for me. At almost 12 years old, I was suddenly sent to my real mom and my stepdad, who raised me very differently, and I became an outcast inadvertently because of that. I was no longer told when to do everything, and my clothes were my choice. I was lost, and I had no idea what to do. I wore mismatched clothes as I had no idea what matching was. I never bathed or showered because I was waiting to be told to. Things a kid my age should have known, I didn't. Book smarts, book smarts did nothing to help me. and I was hated because of it. I was so innocent, like I felt like an alien. I was so far behind the other kids because until then, my life had been so sheltered. I didn't even know what a condom was, and when I found my brother's stash, I thought they were balloons, so I took them into the classroom, and I took them into school, and I was blowing them up and playing with them outside, and the teacher called me to the classroom, and I got a lecture. Everyone thought I was weird, so no one would talk to me, but I was still so much more advanced than the rest of the kids when it came to school stuff. But in daily life, I may as well have been retarded. They used to call me Dino Barks instead of Diana Sparks, because Diana's my birth first name. Or they say avoid the Noid because the Domino's commercials, and they run away from me. Another insult was diarrhea instead of diarrhea, or sewer lady. Um, One day during recess when I was like in the 5th grade, a bunch of kids tied me by my throat to the basketball nets, and they left me there, tied me with jump ropes. The recess monitor did and said nothing. I went home that day with rope burns around my throat, and that was the only time my parents stepped in to help me. Gradually over the years, I struggled to find myself, to teach myself what the other kids already knew, and to learn to try to fit in. Even though for a time I looked just like them, they still knew that I wasn't like them at all. Wrongly, I thought that being sexy would make them, or would make me liked, so I started exploring my sexuality and wearing more revealing clothes. This meant tight pants or t-shirts and tank tops. Not really slutty, just, you know, jeans and tank tops, but I wasn't like wearing big baggy clothes, and I got attention when I had to wear like shorts or tight pants or whatever. I got attention, all right, and I also got raped and I also got raped a handful of times, the first time being when I was still about 11 and a half. I wanted to be attractive, not assaulted. In middle school, a group of boys I knew cornered me behind the Dairy Queen across the street from school as I was walking to class. They had a broken bottle that they pressed against my neck and taunted me to fuck them or else they'd cut my throat. I had a glimmer of fear, but I didn't really take them seriously as I knew them really well. One of them lived over my back fence because the houses were like this, and where my fence ended was their backyard. So you can hop from my backyard to their backyard. And I knew them, so I wasn't really scared because I was like, well, if they did anything to me, I could turn them in. Um, I laughed them off and I pushed past them and I walked away. They started to follow, so I started running, and they left me alone, laughing and joking about who would want to touch me anyway and how they would have been doing me a favor. I wanted so desperately to be liked, even by them, so I laughed it off as well, and we later forgot it. I wasn't very well liked in middle school, but it wasn't too bad for me. I had some friends, still abusive, but not like my childhood friends were. They'd laugh at me, make fun of me, tell me I was fat, even though I wasn't. But they also taught me about makeup and what to wear and how to talk to boys. I was still not their favorite friend, and a lot of the time I felt like they only talked to me when no one else was around. I spent a lot of lunches sitting in the bathroom stall alone because I had no one to sit with and didn't want to look like a loser. I was so lonely back in those days that I used to steal money from my parents to buy friends, and I'd steal records from my brother to impress people and try to get them to like me. My brother taught me about heavy metal, and over time I became a rocker. For a while, it seemed like things would be okay. I felt like I was finally finding myself, and I was happy. Instead of focusing on trying to be like everybody else, I just did what I wanted to do and followed my own interests and my own path. Um, I was finally catching up to the other kids. Then we moved, and I had to start at a new school. That year, I experimented with changing my look up even more. I was the new girl at a new school. No one knew me or what I used to be. Thank God these were the days before cell phones and the internet. It was a fresh start for me, and for a while it was amazing. I was the hot girl. Guys would stop me and tell me I had an amazing body out of the blue. I had friends, I had boyfriends, I was doing excellent in my classes, and I had even been asked to homecoming. I was dating one of the most popular guys in the school as well, and I was ecstatic. I started changing up the way I dressed, choosing shorter, tighter, more revealing clothes, learning more about fashion and who I was and who I wanted to be. It got me even more attention. I was smart, I was well spoken, I had the body of a much older girl, the attitude of a much older girl. Everyone wanted a piece of me. I thought my life was the best it had ever been. For the first time, I felt wanted and liked, and I was myself. But then everything changed. Across the street from us lived a family with two boys. They are both part of one of the biggest gangs in El Paso, on the northeast VNE. My room was in the front of the house, and my window faced the road. One night, there was a party across the street, and the next thing I know, someone was knocking on my window. It was friends of the guys from across the street. They wanted to come in, and I told them to get lost. My parents' room was right next to mine, and besides, I didn't even know them. They went back and told their friends that I let them in, and I did a train on them, and that's how I first found out what a train was. Of course, I had no idea any of that had happened yet. I went to sleep and got up for school the next day. I used to shortcut through the track at the back of the school and was walking across the field when I heard someone yell out, "Hey, window!" I had no reason at all to think this was directed at me, but I got a weird chill all the same, like a really bad feeling. All day long, I kept hearing people say that word, window, and I had no idea why. Finally, near the end of the day, a girl took me aside and told me what was being said about me. I was mortified. All day long, people had been calling me the window lady, and I hadn't even known. I became acutely aware of everything that was said for the rest of the day. Even the girl that lived next door to me, a girl I had thought was a friend of mine, was saying it. In one day, my entire reputation had gone down the drain. I hoped that by the next day things would have calmed down and maybe even be forgotten, but no such luck. All day long, blatantly in my face, people were calling me the window lady. This continued in a frenzy as the weeks and even months passed. I think this went on for actually a couple of years. Um, The tale of the window lady got so big that people from other schools knew about it, and one guy, I'd started ditching school and going to visit friends at other schools, even came up to me asking if I had heard about this huge slut at my school called the window lady. I stared at him blankly, and then I said that was actually supposed to be me, and he just looked at me in disbelief. It had gotten so big that no one really even knew who she was supposed to be anymore, except for the people who had started it and who were at my school. If a new student started school and was seen talking to me, they'd be told who I was and what was being said about me, and warned that being friends with me would be like social suicide. I'd even had teachers come up to me asking me if this was true and if I really was the window lady and did I do this and that. Uh, I had kids in class throwing dirt and leaves and papers at the back of my head, trying to trip me up. I'd started skipping more and more. They pushed me against lockers and knocked me around. Once, when I actually went to school, the principal came outside when I was trying to find friends to ditch with, and he scolded them and told them all to get to class. And he turned to me and he said, "Get out of his school," because he didn't want someone like me at his school. So I left again. I started to get depressed around this time and ended up in intensive care ICU for trying to commit suicide. Where once I had had a brief taste of popularity, now I was ruined. Even the losers club at school refused to hang out with me because they had like the rockers and the jocks and the cheerleaders and the losers wouldn't have anything to do with me. Um, yeah, I was still having guy troubles and quite often would come home to find someone to climb through my window while I was out. Once my dad walked into the room at the same time I did and found three guys scrunched in my closet. He marched them into the living room at gunpoint because he used to sleep with a pistol under his bed. And he called the cops on them. Then he put barbed wire around my room and he boarded up all of my windows. My looks changed once more. I was already into piercings, even though back then it wasn't a popular thing at all. Like, nobody had them. I'd sit in class and stick needles through my eyebrows and stuff. I'd already had a nose ring. I used to slice my fingers long ways with an X-Acto knife and just sit there and cut. I don't know why. Just cut my fingers up. And other times I'd sew my fingers together and rip them apart and sew them together, rip them apart. And it was really weird. Um, I was heavily depressed because of a lot of things, family problems, things that I'm not talking about in this video. And I started to withdraw. I started dabbling in like so-called devil worshipping, and I exchanged heavy metal for death metal. Obituary was the first metal band I got into. And my brother liked the cover, and he bought the cassette because it was all cassettes back then. He bought the cassette on, just on the way the cover looked, and when he listened to them, it was way too heavy for him, so he handed it to me, and I fell in love. Um, I wanted everything darker and heavier and blacker. I wanted to be surrounded by as much hatred and evil as possible because that's how I felt inside. Like the whole world was my enemy. And I know it sounds incredibly emo, but I was a teenager and it was hard. I also did some other things that I won't speak about here, but suffice it to say, I hit rock bottom. It was not sex, drugs, alcohol, or guy related. One night, after a really nasty and violent fist fight with my dad, I heard a knocking at my window. It was four guys who I didn't know. They said they were just at the neighbor's house, and asked if I was okay as they had heard a bunch of yelling. I had just been sitting with my back against the door crying and wishing that someone would come save me and take me away and help me so I never had to feel like this again. Ever since I could remember, it's always been a fantasy of mine to have someone rescue me. When I was in Germany with my stepmom and my real dad, after being bloodied and abused by her, I'd quite often lay awake into the wee hours of the night, staring out over the strange city and wishing to be taken away and saved from all of the abuse. Anyway, they asked me if I wanted to go for a ride. I said no at first because I didn't know them, and also it seemed like it would be feeding into the rumor that was then ruining my life. They assured me that I'd be safe and said that I just really looked like I needed someone to talk to, which I did. So I went with them, and long story short, I was raped by all four of them that night. The next day at school, they bragged to their girlfriends that they did a train on me, or I did a train on them, or whatever. And one of the girlfriends, who is this massive black chick, um, she got me at lunch and beat the shit out of me. She bashed my head against the stadium so hard that I passed out, and I woke up in the nurse's office. I did get one hit on her, but it obviously didn't do shit to her. No one cared about me. I went to school now for one class only, which was English. I've always excelled at English and had a little crush on my teacher too. I remember very clearly the last day I ever went to school. I was wearing a really nice and sexy little tank top black dress. I mean, it wasn't skin tight, but my mom bought it for me, and it was a flattering just a little black dress, nothing special, but I liked it. She didn't buy me much back then, so it meant a lot to me. I liked it. But I was called into the counselor's office, and as I walked out, um, got scared for a minute. I thought I wasn't recording. Yeah. Um, as I walked out the door of the portable, some boys in my class came up behind me and lifted my dress up and then pushed me out of out of the doorway, where I tripped on the steps and fell on the ground. In shame, fighting back tears, I ran to the counselor's office. Um, I forget what we talked about, probably the window lady thing, but I remember she was no help and didn't believe me when I said it was all a lie. I was on my way back to class slowly, as I was humiliated. When I passed by a group of girls standing outside talking, one of them threw the contents of her cup on me, and when I stopped, she and her friend started cracking up, and she said, "Oops, sorry, I thought that was the trash." I went back to class, where my hot, young, and well-meaning English teacher had lined up the boys who had pushed me outside earlier, and he made them all apologize to me. That was humiliating, and I was mortified. When the bell rang, I grabbed my shit and I left, and I never went back. Funny that suicide never really crossed my mind back then, except for my one failed attempt at ODing on pills, even through all of that. And it was a daily thing, being pushed around, being called names, having everybody, even teachers, turn against me. In the 6th grade, I remember my lock was picked and all of my books and even my winter coat were stolen. My mom will never forgive me for having to pay to replace those books. In high school, after the window lady shit started, my locker was broken into again, and everything I owned was stolen once more. I had no friends, no boyfriend, no one to turn to. My parents didn't believe me, and their answer to everything was to keep sending me away to, little bad kids' hospitals or whatever. I tried to talk to them, but they kept saying that everyone gets bullied and everyone goes through that, but I knew not this way, not the way that I was. Soon after I got pregnant with my son, I was on birth control and everything, but, shit happens, whatever. I was out of school for good. I never even graduated at the 9th grade, but I did go back later on and I got my GED. I also went to college. I also went to nursing school. Other things happened in my life. It was all abuses, mentally and physically, from husbands and other exes, but I won't go into any of that, as this isn't about those things. Instead, fast forward to dun dun dun, the internet. As I mentioned earlier, I was always quite emotionally behind, not in book smarts, but in common sense, life lessons, and all that kind of stuff. I've always been quite innocent and naive about a lot of things, and with my BPD, I suppose it also affects the way I understand, cope with, and react to others. Um, I got the internet a lot later in life than most people. I was in my mid to late 20s when I first started going online. At first, it was nothing really: MySpace, Yahoo Messenger, MSN, AOL. But then my life once again fell apart. My dad was dying. I had a new boyfriend online, who offered me a ticket to move here to New Zealand. I was in a really bad way and had been robbed by a previous boyfriend and kicked out of where I was living by the people who I thought were my friends. They turned everyone I knew against me, to the point of one guy taking me to Walmart to buy razor blades and pills and telling me to let him know when I was going to kill myself so that he could come take photos of my dead body to show my son. Um, these people that I stayed with, they were fucking horrible. I couldn't leave the house because if I left the house, they went through my stuff and they stole everything I owned. And they'd sit there and they'd laugh and talk shit right in front of my face. Behind my back didn't really matter. They'd tell me things like, "Oh, you're the only one with furniture, so go ahead and decorate and put all your stuff out." And so I'd say, "Okay," and I did. And then once I did, they'd say, "Oh, I can't believe her putting all her shit out like she owns the fucking place." And then they just like go and blast me for shit that they told me to do. And we were starving, we had nothing, and they wouldn't even let me sit on the furniture. Like, I have pictures where I'm on the floor on my stomach using a computer my dad lent me because I wasn't allowed to use their furniture. I mean, they treated me like an animal, and I, again, I wanted to kill myself. I said, "I have nothing. I can't even feed my own son. I'm starving. I have nobody left. My parents turned against me. I just lost everything I owned, got robbed by the guy I was with, dumped by the guy I was with after him for being too fat, even though I wasn't at the time." And it was just boom, 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 just so much shit. And I was just done. And that's when this one offered me a ticket here, and I took it. Anyway, uh, I wasn't able to go to my parents' house because of my dad being sick, even though he didn't tell anyone that he had cancer till after I left the country. I was starving and about to be homeless and had no friends, no one to turn to. I sent my son away to stay with his dad and was about to end it all for good when this offer came in, which is what I felt was a sign to keep fighting, keep living, and keep trying, so I did. I stayed with a strange girl I'd met once in a bar, begged her to let me stay while I was waiting for my passport to come through. I was without my son, without friends, without food. I used to have to dig through her trash for scraps as there was nothing in the house. I had no money or anything to rely on. I was barely holding on. The promise of coming here and having a new life was the only thing that kept me going back then. In that time, because my relationship and my only hope for the future was in a guy halfway across the world, I made a YouTube and I started making videos for him so that he could get to know me and see me, you know for sure that he wanted me to come over here. I already had people follow me online, on MySpace because they liked my stupid little pictures, but I was really nothing special. However, when my videos started coming out for him, people started following me in a really, really big way, and I have no idea why, because the first video was me just spitting out blood. Like, I was showing him my makeup effects and my blood and trying to be sexy because I wanted him to be interested in me. And another video was me just counting my piercing. 1, 2, 3, like, just dumb, stupid shit. Um, then I started making like random ones, like just random stupid things for him to talk to him, and they're always really short because I had no idea what expandable memory was, memory cards or whatever, so my camera only held like 2 minutes of video. When I moved here and I was able to make longer videos, I did so, just talking, venting, ranting, babbling as I do, and my following grew. I never thought too much about being private or keeping my life secret because I've never been the type to be secretive about myself. If something happened, I talk about it. I don't see any point in trying to pretend that you're perfect or have had a perfect life or being all like, "I can't tell you what you want to know. That's personal." It's just not me, and it never has been. What I didn't know was that there would be people watching me who hated me instantly and started saving pieces of my life to share and to mock me online, and it's been that way ever since. Moving here, I lost connection with everyone, everywhere. I wasn't allowed to talk to people or have friends, online or off, so I talked to my camera. I very quickly started to feel like I should have killed myself back in the States instead of moving here and being put in this hell, this isolation. 4 years long. No friends, no contact with people, except for talking to a camera. Um, which is why I babble so much, because I've gotten comfortable talking to myself. Um, I started talking to the camera more and more, writing blogs, and then making websites as a way to keep myself sane and still get my emotions out there before it turned inwards and I did something stupid. Back when I was younger and I did try to kill myself, my parents locked me up in the psych ward for it. I've been put in many various hospitals numerous times, and in those places, you kind of learn to talk and get your feelings out. You have to cooperate, or else they'd never let you out. And I value my freedom more than most anything else. I quickly came to rely on that to stop myself from turning my anger or depression inwards. So to this day, I get it all out instead of keeping it all in. We all have our ways of coping, and venting has always happened to be mine. As my marriage failed, I started venting more and more, looking online for help or people to talk to and help me put things into perspective. In the end, I ended up leaving, moving out. I was with someone else for a time, someone I had known and had been friends with for over 4 years. He betrayed me in the worst way, and half of my stalkers online now are friends of his whom he's convinced um, I'm a monster and I'm the one in the wrong, when in reality it was him that did everything bad. Um, Then I was alone again for ages, finally happy with myself and not wanting or needing a man or a woman in my life. I tried branching out and making friends here, but was betrayed again, time and time again. Locally, I've been hated for a variety of reasons, but none of them ring true. Like, I don't believe these are valid reasons for the way these people have turned on me, or the reason that they've turned on me. They all have different stories, so it's something I guess I'll never find out. I've been turned on for telling someone off, for them telling my then 16-year-old son not to listen to me or to follow my rules. I was turned on for dressing too slutty during my own parties or in pictures. Um, I was hated for not turning against a girl everyone else hated, and then later for not liking her when they all decided they did. Later on, I was hated for getting with my husband, and that's the main reason now that they try to say that they hate me, even though all this started out of nowhere long before I even met him. I wasn't a slut. I didn't sleep around. When I was single, I made out with one guy that friends of mine set me up with, but I didn't know that another girl in the group had her eye on him. I didn't know any of these people, but I backed off and I apologized to her later, not that it mattered. I had thrown a party, went to sleep, and went to sleep when everyone left. Woke up and then found a shitstorm of my images being shared online, demotivational photos, reports saying that my photos look like a fat rolled roast, like they say, can you please take this photo down? I don't like it because, and then they were like, oh, because you look like a fat rolled roast. Um, no one will tell me why. They just turned from one day to the next. My life was a living hell of threats, abuse, stolen photos, fake websites for months afterwards, years even. I had to change my number, move house, and go into hiding because of it. They threatened me. They threatened my son. My husband's always out of everything, but they threatened me and my son. Once my husband and I distanced ourselves and started planning our wedding, I became part of a brides group on Facebook, local brides and brides-to-be. I met many women who seemed amazing and sweet, and I felt happy for the first time in years. We got married 2 years after we got together, and the shit talking about me never ended in all that time. I was offered free photography, free hair and makeup, nails, etc. I never asked and I never begged. I never once mentioned anything other than what others did, like, do you know where to get this or where to get that? People offered to help us because, it being a Gothic wedding, it gave them the chance to expand their portfolios. The other brides became bitterly jealous, and bam, more slander, more lies. They got me booted from the group, and though they continued to lie about me, stalk me, and talk about me, they even accused me of being in town where all the Goths hung out pre-Quakes, which I never was because I was in my 4 years of lonely hell, and that I went up to somebody and I attacked them and their brother one night trying to suck their blood, saying that I'm a vampire, which is ridiculous. Um, and then there was lies that I heard are that was mentioned on one of these sites that apparently some chick came over and her husband was hitting on me and I falsely accused him of rape, and um, I went to his boss and got him fired, or almost got him fired, and I attacked her, or she attacked me in my driveway and choked me or something, giving me breathing problems, which I don't have. And I mean, some things you can see right through, like the whole me trying to attack people in town. Anybody who knows me knows I'm quite shy, and I don't approach anybody or do anything that's just ridiculous. And also, like, the other thing, I mean, hello, I'm hated for having a big mouth. Everybody complains because I talk too much, and I'm not private. Don't you think that if somebody tried to rape me and somebody choked me, I would have made shit tons of videos about it? If something happens to me, I talk about it, you know? I mean, it's just a no-brainer. It's just people who like to talk shit. Even a year after our wedding, I was getting screenshots of them still spying on me and shit-talking me. After that happened, I ran into trouble with a gaming group online. I play Facebook games to pass the time and to fill my days, and I really enjoy the stupid little flash games, but I was part of a group for adding friends. The owner of the group was this old guy, and he was going on about how I deserve to be abused because of the way I look. I shot back and said that no one deserves to be abused, and certainly not because of the way they look. I told him that he was ignorant, and I was leaving the group as I wanted no part of anything run by a piece of shit like himself who has those viewpoints. So he decided to stalk me, lie about me, report me. He got all of my gaming pages shut down. And he also posted in the group about my miscarriage and my ectopic after reporting the photos I had of those as well, saying that I was disgusting and kept my dead babies in like some weird and sick way. I was given their remains after my surgeries, and they're sealed up in my freezer, one of my freezers, because we have nowhere to bury them, and I'm not gonna just throw them away. They're my babies, you know. But nothing's sacred to anybody, so. After this, fake websites have gone up about me, taking screenshots from my videos and calling me a fat pedophile, telling me to kill myself. Another website went up saying that I was a Thai hooker, massage artist, saying that my husband left me because I breastfeed a doll. I got a reborn doll to try to help me cope with my losses and kind of maybe something I could dress up and look at and play with. I don't know. I don't know what I expected from it, but just something to help. And I got one, and she's beautiful and everything. And people were making up shit saying that I breastfeed it and I treat it like a real baby. And I mean, it's really fucking stupid. And they just, yeah, saying that my miscarriages were abortions. And even though I'm 100% anti-abortion, I mean, just real fucked up shit. Another website was created by the girl that I was told to hate but didn't, then told to like but didn't. And she was calling me a cyberbully, and she stole my images to blast me and lie about me. Um, People have been hacked and pages made, and the fingers are always pointed to me, even though I've had nothing to do with them. Like, hate pages made about the people that I'm enemies with so that it looks like I made them just to keep the feuds up. And someone keeps doing this to rile up the small-minded idiots in the city who can't see through their game, and it makes them all continue to attack me. It doesn't give me any peace at all. There's now a group online who have been actively stalking me since I was with my latest ex, the one that fucked me over, back in 2011, although I suspect they've been stalking me a lot longer, like I said, probably since I started online. They have screenshots of, like, my statuses and my son's statuses. There are people who call my life a train wreck, and they lie about me to such extremes that even if I stretch my imagination, I don't know how they come up with half the shit they say about me. They have taken my ups and downs, my personal struggles, even my marriage, and they've used it against me. They take the fact that I was raped when I was younger, abused as a child, and even my miscarriages, and they use all that to insult me and hurt me. They've taken my friendship with my ex-husband and turned that into something dirty too. Like, he's the only one I know in person who's been there for me through all this time. And yeah, while we had a shitty marriage, he's been there for me as a friend. And I have no other, like, real friends, nobody that's been there for me like he has. And there's nothing wrong with being friends with somebody, but they turn it into something dirty, and they pretend that I still fuck him, which is stupid, because if I wanted to fuck him, I would have never left him. Anyone who comes into my life, they tear apart or they threaten. They have my ex-husband's name, what his parents do, where they live, where they were living, because they weren't even in this country, screenshots of his house, his address. They know my birth name and my birth last name, which I don't ever mention because I was adopted. They pose as my friends to get close to me, and then they turn on me and post about me, giving away all of my links and my information and my photos. Anything and everything I've ever done is used against me. They'll be watching this video here and disliking it, trying to hurt me, and using it against me, screenshotting and then mocking me and talking shit and saying, oh, she's whining and whining so much. Or, oh, I watched 5 minutes of it, can't be fucked watching the rest. It's like, you know my videos are long, you can see the time, so if you can't be fucked, why even start it? It's just, it's beyond laziness. It's just being just flat out retarded. Anyway, these are locals. My ex before my husband, his friends, the fucked up one, and then random people, both of whom once I've been friends with and whom I've never even spoken to, and nothing will stop them. When I was really down last year, having woken to thousands of abusive messages and fake websites about me on my birthday, I went offline hoping to stop the suicidal thoughts from running through my head. I went to the cops, but they didn't care. No one does, because they think that if it's online, it can't hurt you. When I went offline, someone else made a page on Facebook saying that I'd killed myself, to which the first group rejoiced, saying that I was a cunt and I deserved it, and that they don't feel guilty for driving me to it because I deserve to die, and how they'd shit on my grave if they could. And then that's when the local people here, they were like, oh, is it true? Is she dead? And they were like, oh, I don't hear anything about a fat Thai hooker being dead. I wouldn't care if she was dead anyway. And like still hating me and talking shit about me after all this time, almost 4 years of us having nothing to do with each other. But you know what? I'm glad that the page was made, and you know why? Because I got to see what the reaction would have been had I actually done it. I was close, extremely close. My husband had to call the cops on me, and they came and took me in to be evaluated by the psych ward at the hospital for trying to kill myself because I tried to inject myself with too much insulin. He was at work, and he had called me at lunch to see how I was, and I was depressed and crying and saying my goodbyes to him. And so he got worried, and he decided to put my life first and called the cops on me. The hospital didn't see anything wrong, so they let me go. I wasn't mad about it because I knew he did it because he loves me, but in the end, why should these people win? I was so depressed, but I know that killing myself over them would only give them something to be proud of, while it hurts the ones that I love and care for. How many of us are that fortunate to be able to see for themselves their bullies' reactions to the news that they were driven to suicide because of them? Instead of giving up, I then decided to come back and to be strong, to fix the problems that I personally saw truth in amidst all the bullshit that they were spewing about me. I knew my weight was a big problem in my health, and I've hated the way I looked for many years, how big I was getting and had gotten. I didn't even feel human anymore. I went to my GP and I got a referral for gastric sleeve, gastric sleeve, gastric sleeve, vertical sleeve gastrectomy, and I was actually approved, and that to me was another sign to continue on with my life. I'm now over 30 pounds lighter in 3 months, and I feel so much better about myself. They like to say it's me being cocky. It's not me being cocky, it's me rightfully being proud of my progress. There's nothing wrong with being proud of yourself and how far you've come, and especially if you've overcome being on death's door and being about ready to give up. It's something to be proud of, and I have every right to be proud, and I am. And they're not going to take that away from me. Anyway, I also wasn't being a good mother to my son. I'd said a lot of really bad things about him in the past, like shameful, horrible, really, really bad things. And I blamed him for a lot of things that weren't his fault, but instead were actually my fault. My fault for doing the wrong thing, raising him wrong, not being a mother to him, being a friend to him. I did see the truth in what they said. I thought I was doing a good job, but it turned out I wasn't being the kind of mother I should have been. So I fixed what I could, and I work on the rest day by day. And whereas he had moved out, well, I kicked him out because he wasn't working, but we were really, really bad. But now he's back here living with me, and we get along better than we ever have. I know that I've become a better person in spite of what they say about me, and they can never take that away from me. I did have another slip up recently, and hopefully it'll be my last, but even if I slip up more, you know, Nobody's perfect, and unlike these people, I have a heart. And, sometimes you're weak and sometimes you're strong, but as long as I can be strong most of the time, that's all that really matters. But I felt like dying and giving up again, and it was because of the same group of people. I had taken in a homeless 16-year-old girl who I thought needed help. In the end, she was just a handful. She was too much to deal with, and my husband and my son wanted her gone. I didn't have the heart to toss her out because I wanted to help her. So I asked online to 5 of my most trusted friends, and I asked them what to do. I explained the entire situation from the start, everything she had done, even things that were resolved, just so that they could have the full story and know everything what drove my husband and my son to say that they wanted her out. Because it was a desperate situation, because I couldn't just throw her out, but I didn't want to ruin my marriage or, make my son want to leave. So I was trying to get an, trusted opinion or whatever. She got into my account. Well, her story changes from first she said she saw it from one of her other accounts, which was never friends with me. And then she said someone sent her a screenshot. And then she said someone sent her boyfriend a screenshot. But in the end, she felt that me asking for help was me betraying her. And she refused to listen to reason. And so she went to those people and she got them all riled up again. They played right into her hands, did exactly what she wanted them to do. And not only that, but she went to my friends, like new people that I had met here and was trying to be friends with, or am trying to be friends with, or whatever, and she tried to turn them against me. And when they refused, she got really pissed off. And then she went to my enemies, the ones from here that I had confided in her, told her about. She went to them and got them all worked up against me as well. Everyone here is so quick to hate me that every single person that she went to has jumped to her side, and the nightmare started up again. I was depressed because not only was it an extreme betrayal from someone that I had always protected and who I honestly tried to help, but to see these people going on about me even after I'd made these changes in my life was just mind-blowing. I had a moment of stupidity and ignorance where I actually took it to heart when they said that if someone tried to change your life, they would leave them alone. And I really hoped that, maybe not all of them, but at least some of them would be like, huh, you don't often see someone that we feature here, we talk about, making steps to change their life, but she actually is. Maybe we should give her a chance or back off her a little bit. I honestly, I don't know why I thought that a hate group would care what you do in your life, but I was so proud of myself for making changes. I stupidly thought that it would make some kind of a difference, and that's where my my weakness still was, because I thought that it would make a difference to them, and it didn't. Um, anyway, my speaker just cracked. Um, I have not read the site, but I have seen screenshots. Um, Screenshots that I got were enough to send me spiraling almost back to where I was a few months earlier. I stopped eating and drinking, which is really dangerous after the surgery, and I started sleeping all day and night. I ended up snapping out of it due to the new friends I have, old friends, and the amazing support system that I have and that I always seem to take for granted. And that's when I thought to myself again, I've been through way worse in person. Why the hell should I let these losers have any effect on my life? And that's when I decided that now is the time to get my story out there and see who I can help. I mean, sure, I'm not perfect. I never will be. But you know what? My husband loves me. And my son loves me. I have a slew of friends and followers online who actually care about me and who are there for me and have been for many years. The same faces and the same names have not left my side. And while some of them might be haters in disguise, there are enough true people out there, that it's enough. You know, it's more than what most people have. And I'm very grateful for that. Um, they matter, haters don't. Haters hide away and lie and talk about you because they have nothing. I won't say that they're jealous of me, because I maintain the fact that I have nothing for them to be jealous of. They just have empty lives, and they think that talking shit about people, it's like a gossip circle, like a sewing circle or something. They just get together and just gossip about people in the most cruel and horrible way possible. But really, that's all they have. I don't think it's jealousy, because I'm not up myself, and I don't think I'm all that. Pride or not, and what I'm doing, I don't think it's jealousy, but it's definitely something. Um, they watch my videos and they click dislike on them all, like as if that's supposed to hurt. All it does is show me that what I'm doing is right, because it's affecting them. They're looking at it and they're like, she's talking, oh, she's smiling, oh, she's alive, she's showing off clothes, she's with her husband, dislike, dislike, dislike. And I'm like, yeah. Like, I actually got kind of upset when I was uploading videos when I first came back and there were no dislikes on it. I was like, where are they? I know that they're still watching. Why are they not, like, counting my videos, disliking my shit? Because I expect them to. I know that they're there, and I look for them all the time. I always know that they're always going to be there. It's just a part of my life that I've got to deal with or end up buckling and dying over, and it's just not worth it. That's what I'm trying to get across here to you guys who might be going through the same thing, probably even with the same people for all I know. Uh, they insult me while hiding their own faces, and you can't take them seriously. At least my high school bullies did all that shit right to my face. They didn't hide online and pretend, to be a friend when they weren't. If it was like, you know who you are, you know who your friends are, you know who your enemies are. My story hasn't ended, and each day is a struggle in a different way. It could be something else, but it is getting easier. And if any of you are being bullied online, just remember that they hide away and they talk shit. They're online. They can't hurt you. That's what helped me before I had my latest weak moment. Ooh, excuse me. Um, but it's like, so what if they have photos of you? And so they share your statuses, screenshot your statuses. So they can never and will never, ever have the power to make your loved ones hate you or turn on you. If someone is truly your friend or cares about you, they'll know the truth, or they won't leave your side no matter what some random person online tries to say. You know? They are utterly and completely powerless to hurt you if you don't let them. And I know it's easier said than done, but think of it this way. You must be doing something right to make someone follow you, stalk you, and hate you to that extreme that they take time out of their own lives to focus on you. So smile, be happy, and give them something to look at. That, or love your loved ones, love your friends. Be content in the fact that those true to you will never be swayed by the words of someone online. Words or photos, even if you have nudes, nudes that you're ashamed of that have been leaked. You know what? We've all got the same shit, just in different forms. Chicks have tits, chicks have pussies, guys have dicks. Everybody has nipples. I mean, some variation of the other. Who really cares, I mean, really, it's not worth losing your life over. Just shrug it off and be like, you know what? I made a mistake. So fucking what? You're the ones who are going to hang on it. Well, I'm moving on and living my life. I have people that matter. You don't matter, and you can't touch me, and you can't hurt me. I can't really say anything for the things in person because I didn't do so well. I ran away and I did school. But online, at least, which is where the majority of bullying is nowadays, you know, it doesn't matter in the end. You can't make it a victory for them, because if you die, if you kill yourself and give in, they won't care. They'll laugh and they'll rejoice, and then they'll go and do it to somebody else. Keep living and piss them the hell off. I had been asked a few questions about my change of mind, but hopefully they've been answered here, like what's made me stronger and happier, and what's caused my attitude to change, etc., etc. It's just a realization that these people aren't worth it, and that I've been through so much worse in person, and I've survived. They can't touch me, they can't hurt me in any way, and they can only get to me mentally if I let them. But knowing and appreciating the support I have is my own personal shield against them. Seeing them dislike my videos shows me that they hate the fact that I'm still here, being seen and making videos, and so it makes me smile. Making a game of it, I post things sometimes that I know will get a rise out of them or piss them off, things that I know that they'll share and mock, showing how single-minded they really are. It's kind of fun to me, going to bed at night, wrapped in my husband's arms, having him look at me like I'm a goddess, and knowing that I have so much love all around me. There's nothing a measly, faceless troll can do that would ever diminish this wonderful feeling, and that is where I get my strength. That and knowing that I'm a far better person than they will ever be, and that I'm a far better person than they will ever acknowledge also helps. Um, they try to say that I'm a cyberbully and that I hurt and I pick on people. People here do it too. Like, they always talk about me being a bully and a cyberbully, and I'm insane and I'm a psycho wacko. But, you know, I know that I'm not. And speaking out to people that have been saying shit about you isn't being a cyberbully. All it is you're confronting them instead of running away. You're like, hey, you said this about me. Why did you say that? And then you go online or whatever and you're like, well, so and so said this, but you know what? They're fucking wrong. It's not like that at all. They can't handle that. They don't like being confronted and having their story put out there to make them look bad. And so they turn it around on you to make you look bad. And everybody follows. It's like, if I say something bad about somebody, I could easily lie and make up shit, except I'm not like that. My friends, my good friends, will take my side. They will probably instantly judge that person, which I'm not saying is good or right. It's actually not. It's just like somebody that hates me. If they say something about me, their friends aren't going to second guess them and be like, well, maybe it's not true. They're just going to listen and they're going to be like, oh, it's true. She's an ugly bitch. Oh, look at her eyebrows. That's the new insult. Talking shit about my eyebrows. And it's like, you know, I don't have perfect eyebrows. I like this thin, drawn on fake look. I mean, I wouldn't mind having real hair, but when your eyebrows grow here, um, it doesn't quite work. And your only option is to shave them off and redraw them back on. And I've had mine tattooed on, so they're in this place forever. Also, because I have a tattoo there, I can't really do a hell of a lot much. Um, but I don't really care. I like my eyebrows, and if you don't like them, that's your problem. I probably don't like something that you have. I don't like big bushy eyebrows. I like my own eyebrows, so I do what I like, and you do what you like, and just try not to let other people's opinions bother you, you know? But if I've ever badmouthed someone, it's because they've done it to me, but I am just as quick to take it back. You might notice that my bathtub ramblings video, you know, bath time ramblings, is no longer up. And that's because I've cleared the air with somebody that I talked about in that video. And I said that I would take it down because when I clear the air with someone, I'm not gonna like leave up videos talking shit about them. Not if it bothers them to the point that shit's been brought up again or whatever. Um, and so I'd much rather clear the air with people and not have enemies than to just do this retaliating back and forth thing. I mean, it might be childish, but I do retaliate. It's what I do. I can't stand people lying about me. If somebody lies about me, I bring it up and I tell my side of it. And I am quite long-winded, and I do go on and on and on. And either you watch my videos and you realize this, or you don't. There's nothing I can do about it. I mean, I can try to make it shorter, but I enjoy long videos, so deal with it or don't. But knowing the truth and those who matter knowing the truth is all that really matters. Again, I'm sorry. I kind of went off on a tangent for the most part. I read all of that. I knew it was going to be a long video, and it was. But I hope that you could listen to my story and see, you know, I've been through a lot of shit in my past. I've been through shit in school from earliest years, as early as I can remember, even to current times. I'm 38 years old, and I'm getting cyberbullied like a teenager. And you can't let it get to you no matter what age you are, what sex you are, what sexuality you are, what style you are. It doesn't matter. Nobody has a right to make you feel like shit. And if people are trying that hard to bring you down, you've got to look at what it says about them. And if I could last through all of that, I'm sure you can as well. I mean, my arm fucking gashed up to hell. Big cuts. I had to tattoo over it. So you can't really see it because I tattooed over it. Um, I'll put some of the maybe screenshots, but I'll definitely put a little snippet of the video that I made on my birthday when I was like at my end. I was crying and crying and no makeup on. I was just like, I can't take it anymore. And they saw that. It was directed to these people that are doing this to me, and they laughed about it. They just thought it was the funniest thing ever. And they were like, because I put a picture of a cat up, and I titled it "Happy fucking birthday to me," and I was like, "You're gonna get what you want. I'm just gonna fucking, I can't take it anymore." And they were like, "Oh, I thought it was gonna be a cute video of a cat, and all I saw was this fat ugly bitch, this fat whale, in her ugly face crying, oh, I feel robbed," or, just mocking me and talking shit. And I went from this fat, disgusting creature that, I mean, I didn't even want to look in the mirror. I look at my old videos now where I thought I looked okay, and my skin is so bad, and my face is out to here. It's like I'm wearing another face under my face practically. And I mean, now, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but like, I mean, look at me now. Like, this is my waist now, and I still have so long to go. So, in a way, they've encouraged me to, I can't see anything, but they've encouraged me to better myself. So that's a hint, and that's something that you can do as well. Like, use them, encourage you to have a better life, to maybe fix mistakes that you've made in your life if you want to. If you don't want to, then by all means don't. But if there's any element of truth in what any cyberbully is saying, you can use that to your advantage, and you can be like, well, maybe I could change this a little. Use it as constructive criticism if you want. But definitely don't let them get you down. Don't let them drive you to suicide. Um, Don't let them take your life away from you, or to make you feel hopeless, like you have nothing, you have no one, because you'll have somebody. Everybody out there has somebody out there. And you know what? If you feel like you have nobody, you have me. So I'm more than happy to talk to anybody who needs somebody to talk to, an ear, or just someone to vent to. I mean, you can find me either my Facebook page or my email address or whatever. Just, if you ever feel like you're at your end and you just want someone to understand, you can come to me. I'm still a nice person, even though I heavily distrust people. I can't let them completely take that away from me, because then they've won. If they isolate me from everybody because I can't trust anybody, then they've won. And you know what? I'm so against them winning anything. I'm determined to keep true to myself and to stay how I want to be. And how I want to be is, I want to help people. I don't want enemies. I want friends. I want to be there for people. I just want to be a good person. I think I'm a good person. They can't handle me being a good person. But I'm a happy person. I'm alive. I'm going to be alive. And I found my strength again. I have an excellent support system around me that I I have to drill into my head to start understanding and realizing. I'm just not used to having support, and so it's kind of hard for me to just go to it. But you know what? I can do it. If that's a difference between I have makeup on my hands, between them winning or losing, then I'm gonna cover my face now because I just put lipstick on my nose. Um, if me being a bit mentally stronger and realizing and acknowledging the good in my life is the difference between me living and me dying, and them winning or them being frustrated because I'm still living, then you know what? I'm gonna utilize everything I can to make my life better, because I deserve it, and they can kiss my ass. And the same goes for you guys. If you need anything at all, come to me. I'm really sorry my videos are so long-winded. I think I will try my best to keep my videos shorter from here on, but no promises, because it's one of the few enjoyments I consistently have, and I don't even know anymore. But in either case, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. For those of you that know me, for those of you that don't know me, even either or, thanks for being there. And I really hope that you guys aren't going through the same kind of shit. And if you are, I hope that I've helped you in some way, because it's all I really want to do. And I will see you guys shortly. And just take care, everyone. Bye.
I live my life by myself. I mean, I've been harassed and hounded and abused to the point of being a fucking hermit. My entire life has been taken away from me, and nobody gives a fuck. You know, you all think that it's fine to beat a person down into complete submission, and it's all okay just because you don't like them. But you know what? It's not fucking okay, alright, to do this to somebody. It's really not. I don't do anything different than what most people online do. But I'm hounded and abused and treated like some kind of scum of the earth. Like I've done something really, really wrong, and it's great fun for everybody to come down on me. I don't even know why I'm still here. I have nothing to offer anybody. I have absolutely nothing. You can call it feeling sorry for yourself or not, but the facts don't lie, and the facts are that this shit doesn't ever, ever end for me. There's always somebody out there who is making it a point to bash the shit out of me for no reason whatsoever, except that, what, they don't like the way I look, they think I'm too fat to be alive? I mean, there's no sense behind it, and I just can't fucking take it anymore. So, you know, there's my honesty there. I'm probably a horrible person that deserves it in some way. I am fucking miserable. Yeah, the shit that you fucking do fucking stabs me right in the fucking heart, and it gets to me. It fucking hurts so bad to log on and to see yourself torn apart by people that won't even come forward and tell you who it is. They just anonymously online go online and say the worst possible things about you as if you are not a human being and you have no fucking feelings whatsoever. You know, it's something that I'm so sick of seeing. I'm so sick of feeling like this. And I know that you're gonna sit there and you're gonna watch this and you're gonna laugh and be so happy that you got the result that you wanted. You know, and I'm not gonna hide that from you. You wanted it. Here it is. Here's everything that you've ever wanted, except for the fact that I am not gonna kill myself for you. I am not gonna go offline for you. I am not gonna erase my shit for you no matter what you do to me. I am not gonna give you that last little bit. You have gotten everything else from me, but you are not getting that. And no matter how bad of a person you think I am, because I've reacted to what other people have said to me first, I still don't think that I deserve to be treated like this. And to log in on my birthday and to see these things being said about me again. It's just too much for one person, and I'm just tired of people being this way. And then I'm told that I deserve it for being in the public eye, and I'm not in the public eye. I didn't ever want to be in the public eye. I'm just a fucking girl who does nothing but sit at home and play Facebook games and keep to myself. I talk to nobody. I go nowhere. I have no friends. I have no life. I have nothing. Nothing because of people like you, and it's still not enough for you. I just don't even know anymore. I just don't even know. It's like a great fucking birthday, but celebrating my birth is the last thing that I want to fucking do.
This here was when my mom had a stroke and I was trying to raise money to go to the States and see her. These are the kind of comments that I got. As if it was my mom's fault. As if she deserved to pay for me being a horrible human being. This here is from that website where they were mocking me and talking shit about me and trying to pretend it was me writing as if I wrote even half that illiterate. Now, I've only included a few photos, but there are literally hundreds upon hundreds. I have albums and albums and albums. Way too much to put here. This is just a sampling, just to show you a little bit of what I was talking about. This is just about me, about my body. Of course, they're all anonymous because not one single one of them will dare show their face. Not even my biggest stalkers. They have my baby pictures. They have pictures of me and Dorian when Dorian was a newborn. How's that for stalking? Pictures of me when I was 19. Not even high school. That was still like the 8th grade. And these are them stalking me to the point of finding all of my links. Don't worry, they're deactivated. This was a text I got from somebody from here. His boyfriend was one of my friends, and I wrote to him to make sure that we were okay, and he didn't hate me like everybody else. And his boyfriend was, yeah, threatening. And they swear Logan's too hot for me and he's gonna leave me, which is a laugh, because he's totally in love with me. This here pregnancy update, bad news, sounds like good news to me. And of course, the pedophile thing. It's so funny how nobody seems to know the definition of what a pedophile really is. Here, talking about happiness when I was pregnant with the twins. That baby is fucked. You notice none of these people have real pictures, real profiles. Some of these people do. These are Reddit. The ones that look like this, it was when Reddit came after me for attacking somebody who had been harassing me and sexually harassing Logan. This is the bitch who said she wanted to shit on my grave. This is a different site. So she was obviously on my friends list, and she's gone all over the place just to slam me. And just more bullshit. So this is just a little piece of what I have to go through. And I mean minuscule.